Every afternoon, there are four things you need to know about. They tend to happen after about 3 p.m. Eastern, and before you get home, you might as well learn about them before you hear it on the evening news. That's my job. I'm Erick Erickson. Tune in wherever your podcasts are available, on YouTube, Spotify, Apple, whatever. You'll get the four things to know in the afternoon. Search Erick Erickson or go to erickerickson.com/4 things to know for the links. Be more informed than your family and friends.
Welcome to the Erick Erickson Show podcast, Hour 2.
My fellow Americans, welcome. It's an open line Friday. It's Erick Erickson here, 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I would be very, very happy to have you. We started the first hour with Isaac Newton's basic laws, inertia and motion and things like that. Let's talk about thermodynamics, the second law of thermodynamics. Thermal energy moves from high temperatures to low temperatures. Things move around. So you know what your air conditioner does is it takes the heat in your house, pulls it out, and cold air is pushed back in, obviously. But what's actually going on in thermodynamics is heat moves to cold things. Why does ice melt? This is something as a child you might think the ice melts by over time releasing the cold as the ice melts into the area around you. But actually what's happening is the ice cube acts as a heat sink and pulls the heat towards it, and that's why the ice cube melts. You have a place piled high with ice. The reason the location gets cold is not really the presence of the ice. It is the ice is pulling the heat out of the air around it and making things cold. Heat moves to cold. Why? Because in heat, the air particles are less dense. The air is vibrating around, and cold, the particles collapse. They're not really moving, and the heat moves into it and makes the cold particles move and transfers their energy into them to get them moving, and you get neutral when everything is at the same temperature. So on my front porch, in the wintertime, we live a mile or so, 2 miles, mile and a half from the interstate. And in the wintertime, when the air is dense, we can hear the interstate. It's a lot louder than on a warm night because the air is denser. All of this is to say that it also translates to some degree into economics, that jobs move, although we talk about it opposite. A hot job market is where things are flowing. People are going into a city because the job market is hot. That means that there's a lot of energy there. That means people are drawing in, and it takes jobs away from areas where the economy has gone cold. We think about economic thermodynamics in the opposite way. In regular thermodynamics, the hot moves towards the cold. In economics, the cold moves towards the hot. We're having to remember this as a nation, that there are basic laws of economics that you yourself cannot change. To change them takes, what? Inertia. It takes a force acting on the outside. Well, a force has acted on the outside in Seattle, and it is devastating Seattle. The good progressives of Seattle and Washington State have applied so many taxes and regulations that the companies that they always took for granted, like Amazon and Seattle, they're moving. They're all moving to Nashville. I'm beginning to feel sorry for my friends who live in Tennessee. Not only is Nashville growing, but that state's going to become more progressive as the white wokes of Seattle move to Tennessee. Seattle is cutting hundreds of its corporate workers as part of a restructuring. The Seattle-based coffee giant is laying off 224 workers across the company's Seattle headquarters in remote positions. The layoffs include 120 corporate employees who refuse to move to Nashville, and 104 employees on a team that oversees the design and construction of its shops. Employee cuts will take effect on October 19th and be completed on November 1st. The company said the layoffs mark the end of a global restructuring announced in May. In January, Starbucks CEO Brian Niccol promised to pursue steep cost savings, including $2 billion in cuts over the next 2 years. We're going to be unrelenting on cuts, Niccol told investors. The 104 layoffs on the store design and development team follow a leadership shakeup as the company pursues its Back to Starbucks transformation plan, which includes reviving the coffee company's traditional coffeehouse experience while upgrading shops and reducing wait times. Niccol had been the Chipotle CEO, and he tapped Chipotle's former chief development officer, Stephen Piacentini, in April to lead its shop renovations. The other 120 layoffs involve a separate issue. Seattle Starbucks clearly wants to transition to Nashville, and the workers who refuse the offer to move are losing their jobs. The company announced in March it plans to open a new corporate office with 2,000 employees in Nashville, in addition to its Seattle headquarters at the Starbucks Center. The company said many of the Nashville roles will be new jobs connected to future growth. You know where this is headed. Despite the protestations of Starbucks, it's leaving Seattle. Its founder has left Seattle. It's leaving Seattle. It has said, no, we're not really leaving Seattle, but yes, they're leaving Seattle. We all know how this game works. They do it over time. They slowly shift to another state, and it all comes down to business regulation and taxation. In Washington state, the progressives forgot one of the basic laws of economic thermodynamics. Cold moves to hot. They applied burdensome regulations and taxes that weighed down companies and stopped their energy. And so that energy is now flowing into places that are already hot. Nashville is booming. Nashville, everybody's moving to Nashville. It's something like 1,000 people a week, and now it's actually up to like 1,500 to 2,000 people a week are moving in Nashville, Tennessee. Amazon is moving. Starbucks is moving. The Daily Wire moved to Nashville. The place is getting crowded now. I've got friends of mine who have moved further and further outside of Nashville because Nashville is just exploding economically and bringing with it a bunch of progressives. Nashville is becoming a hotbed of progressivism in Tennessee. Tennessee legislature, be careful there. You don't want Nashville to turn into Austin, and it's becoming Austin, Texas, where the wackadoo left there is driving up crime and homelessness and drug addiction. And in Austin, Texas, you don't want Nashville to become like Austin, please. Friends, the Trump administration is also having to learn this. I don't mean to step on the president's toes here, but the president of the United States has just announced to lower beef prices in the United States. They're getting rid of tariffs on beef. Now, I need you to meditate on that one for a minute. Ponder that, because this White House and many of the president's ardent supporters, many of whom listen to this program, were very adamant that tariffs did not raise prices. And many of these same people, they yelled at me and demanded I retract my views on tariffs, saying I was wrong and I needed to admit it. This is the President of the United States. Today, I concluded a deal to substantially lower the price of ground beef for working Americans. As everyone knows, under President Biden, beef prices soared at their fastest rate. The American beef fell to its smallest size in modern history as we work to rebuild this herd and help our ranchers for the next 90 days. The United States will allow 300,000 metric tons of product for ground beef to be imported with no out-of-quota tariff. We have a commitment that this beef will be sold at 25% below current market prices. This deal will reduce prices for Americans while giving space for our great American beef herd to grow again. Friends, do you know why the president can guarantee that this imported beef will be sold at 25% below current market prices? Guess. I dare you. Guess. Why can the President of the United States guarantee that this beef will be 25% less than what is currently being sold? Guess what the tariff is on imported beef? 25%. Some of you told me tariffs did not affect prices. So we have a 25% tariff on imported beef. The president is getting rid of the 25% tariff, and lo and behold says this beef will be sold at 25% below current market prices. Isn't that an odd connection? By the way, side note, some of you send me emails or you call the program. I see people calling right now. I'm sure they're calling to complain that I'm very snotty and arrogant and a know-it-all. And the problem here is that it's not snottiness or arrogance or being a know-it-all to remind you that I was right and you were wrong about basic economics. You wanted to performatively hump the leg of the leadership and agree to the things that they said is true, and you don't like me pointing out that you were wrong. You think it's arrogant of me to point out to you that the laws of basic economics have not changed. That's not arrogance on my part. It's not being snotty. It's not me being a know-it-all. It's you being a blithering idiot for believing what the puppet masters of Washington, D.C. told you because you wanted to believe it was true and you put tribal loyalty ahead of the basic laws of economics. You put tribal loyalty ahead of basic common sense, and you're mad at me pointing out to you that you believed a bill of goods that was not true. How dare you tell us that what you said was true when we wanted to believe the leaders of Washington who told us it was not true? It's not my fault that you guys believe the nonsense in Washington instead of the laws of economics, the basic laws of economics. Spare me the lectures that I'm an arrogant know-it-all for telling you tariffs were going to raise prices when the president today is telling us that his tariffs raise prices. Now imagine if the president stepped back and got rid of all the tariffs on all the stuff. What would happen to the prices? If getting rid of a 25% tariff on beef guarantees that beef will now come down by 25%, what would happen if he got rid of the tariffs on steel? What would happen if he got rid of the tariffs on aluminum? What would happen if you got rid of the tariffs on lumber? What would happen if you got rid of the tariffs on other grocery items? By the way, there is new research out that the tariffs are disproportionately falling on the poor and middle class, not just in terms of higher prices, but in terms of no wage growth. And do you know why that is? Do you have any idea? It's because the lobbyists for the major corporations of America were able to carve out exceptions for their products. And who are the major corporations of America? The electronics, the computer industry, the technology class. They hired lobbyists, and those lobbyists got carve-outs for their products that are mostly bought by wealthy people. The grocery stores in America have, a 4%, 5% profit. They couldn't hire the lobbyists to go carve out grocery price exceptions. Only when people got really outraged about the prices of bananas and the prices of coffee did the president cut those tariffs. And guess what? Those prices came down. And now he's cutting the price of beef by 25% and say we're guaranteed to get 25% less. Well, you sure as heck are, because you just cut a 25% tariff off to zero. So the price will come down. Of course. That's the way it works. The wokes of Seattle are losing Amazon and they're losing Starbucks to Nashville, Tennessee, because Tennessee has no income tax and doesn't have the regulatory burden and employment requirements by the state government that Washington State and Seattle have. And so Seattle is losing their business. In the laws of thermodynamics, hot moves to cold. In the laws of basic economics, cold moves to hot. Seattle and Washington have frozen their labor market and their economy with burdensome regulations and requirements and paperwork and taxation. So it's moving to the hot market of Nashville, Tennessee. The president of the United States has driven up your prices by burdening our economy with tariffs. It slowed things down. The rest of the world's economy is trading with each other and not with us now. Aluminum prices and steel prices are higher here per capita than anywhere else because of a stupid tariff that the president could get rid of and stimulate our economy. But our president has embraced the 1950s and worse, the 19th century economics of mercantilism with protectionism as opposed to the free market that you support. And just think about this now. Think about this. The president could tomorrow rapidly reduce prices across all sectors of the economy by getting rid of his tariffs. But he is surrounded by a bunch of boomers who have whispered in his ear that mercantilist policies of the 19th century, not 1900s, but the 1800s, is good for us. And only now has he figured out if he gets rid of that dynamic for beef, can he lower beef prices? Imagine if he did it to the rest of your groceries, too.
Just joined us? No worries. Check out the Erick Erickson Show 24/7 stream at erickerickson.com. Available for Apple CarPlay and Android Auto.
Hello and welcome. It is Erick Erickson here. The phone number 877-973-7425. Should you wish to be on the program, I'm going to take your phone calls. Be patient. Short segment here because I did a bad clock management job in my last tirade. We will get to you, I promise. And friends, I need you to stick around because we're going to have a laugh together after I take some calls in the next segment. So if you don't have kids or your kids are out of the house, one of the banes of every parent's existence these days is the group me and the group chat among schools, particularly elementary and high school families. Because there's always that one mother, there is always that one mom who knows no boundaries and believes that she can control the lives of everyone else. It is you talk to any parent who is in a group chat about their kid's school, and if they don't believe that phenomenon is real, they are that parent. It's like every family has a black sheep, and if you don't think so, you're the black sheep. Every school group chat has that mom, and if you don't think it does, you are that mom. Well, one has just gone nuts, and I must bring it to you, and it is hilarious. It is about Oreo cookies, and you're not going to want to miss it. I promise you, you are not going to want to miss this. I need to tell you about Old Glory Bank before we get there. Old Glory Bank is my bank. I have a no-fee checking and no-fee savings account. I use my app all the time for mobile checks. I have deposited cash. You can do it. They're an online bank. They've made it easy for you. For businesses, you should consider, particularly if you're a conservative business and you're worried about debanking trends, you should consider Old Glory Bank. If you're a veteran, active duty, military, first responder, they waive some fees for you. Then look, they're fully functional. They do mortgages. They do CDs. You name it, go to oldglorybank.com/Erick and check them out today. They've got great rates for mortgages. They've got a great lending program as well. They actually have Americans, human beings in the United States who partner with you, and they're like your Sherpa for a mortgage, for a business loan. They get to know you and your business or your home and what you're interested in. It's not a department, it's a person. oldglorybank.com/Erick, member FDIC, equal housing lender. Terms and conditions apply. Go to oldglorybank.com/Erick today and find out more about Old Glory Bank. They might be a good fit for you.
Engaging and fearless. The Erick Erickson Show, tackling politics and culture with clarity.
Hello, America. I'm delighted to have you with me. It is an open line Friday, and you can call in at 877-973-7425 if you want to be on the program. You can also text Erick, E-R-I-C-K, to 33777. Get the live stream, the show notes, the podcast, everything you need, the 4 Things to Know in the Afternoon podcast, all my social media. I'll be cooking this weekend. I'm sure I'll have it up online. I want to go to phones as promised. Marty, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, sir. How are you?
Wonderful, sir. You have a great show as always.
Thank you.
I asked AI the other day to do a chart of who owes what on a national debt, and they came back with 30 trillion is owned essentially domestically, which means that everybody's getting an IOU from the government. Essentially, that's it. So if I had an imaginary $100 million and I deposited it into a T-bill, that means everybody and their brother is paying me back. And I wonder how that will go over, because if you look at it, that's not very smart, because somebody in Iowa is going to be paying me money, and I have no relationship with them.
Yeah. So a lot of people tend to think that it's foreign governments that have most of the debt of the United States. That's not true. It's us. Your investment accounts and the like, that they buy into treasuries because they're safe. They're the full faith and credit. A lot of corporations park money in treasuries, particularly when they're getting a yield over 5% over time. Here's what it is. So every year the government brings in money, the revenue, that's from taxes, and they spend money, the expenditures of the government, the budget. The government spends more than it brings in. In order to get money, it borrows money by issuing bonds. And it says, here is an IOU. You give me your money for us to spend this year, and we will pay you back. Well, at the end of the year, that deficit, it tends to be about $2 trillion to $3 trillion. That deficit gets added to the national debt. And our debt, it took us 200 years to get to $1 trillion in national debt. It has taken us only a year to go from $39 trillion to $40 trillion in debt. We are now spending way more than we bring in. There's no signs of slowing it down. The government keeps issuing bonds. And as the marketplace looks and says, wait a second, if we sell the entire American private sector economy tomorrow, we can't get back the money the government now owes. So how is the government going to pay us back? And that's why the yield is going up, the interest rate. The government has to induce you to invest in the government by raising the interest rate more. And as you spend money in the government and not in the private sector, that reduces the private sector, and it becomes a death spiral for the government. And the only way to get out of that death spiral is for the government to stop spending. And here's the problem now. The interest on the national debt is more than our defense spending. You can't not pay the interest on the debt. We're not actually paying people back. We're paying the interest. The mandatory spending is the biggest chunk of it. And if you fix the mandatory spending, you solve the problem. But no one wants to touch the mandatory spending, because the mandatory spending is Medicare and Social Security. And there are easy ways to do it. One, you reduce what people are getting in Social Security, which you don't want to do because senior citizens vote more than anyone else and they'll kill you at the polls. And two, you raise the retirement age. That one's actually easy, but it just kicks the can down the road. George Bush had a solution in 2005, but Republicans and Democrats scoffed at his solution, which was to transfer Social Security into a market-based 401k system. And all the people who scoffed at it, who would be retiring today, would have way more money now than they did. But they didn't want to do it now. Now's the time to do it, and we're going to have to make the hard choices by 2032, because that's when Social Security runs out of money unless they make some changes. The phone number is 877-973-7425. I blame my buddy Matt Whitlock for this. I am obsessed with this. Any one of you who is a parent knows that one of the worst parts of your day is the school group chat among the mothers. There's always one mom who causes drama. There always is. There always has been. Blessedly, my wife has taken me off the group me's and the group chats. Well, some mother named Ashley is part of a family group chat, or part of a school group chat. And she has taken the group chat from her school. She has a 5-year-old in kindergarten. And she has used AI to turn it into gospel music. Let me set the stage for you. One of the group chat mothers, named Michelle, has a daughter. And her daughter is not allowed to eat Oreo cookies. And another mother named Charlotte has a daughter who not only is allowed to eat Oreo cookies, but gets 2 Oreo cookies in her lunchbox. Michelle's daughter wants the Oreo cookies. And the mothers are fighting about it in a group chat. And Ashley, one of the moms, has turned the school group chat into gospel music. It has gone viral on the internet. And now Ashley herself is in trouble for exposing the group chat to the world. It is worth listening to, friends.
Hi, everyone. Sorry, slightly awkward one, but could we maybe agree on some basic rules around lunchboxes? Of course. Is this about allergies? No, nothing allergy related. Ava came home really upset yesterday because one of the girls had Oreos in her lunch. Oh, why was she upset? We don't allow that kind of thing at home, so obviously she wanted them when she saw someone else eating them. Okay. I thought there had been an allergy issue or something. No. I just wondered if we could agree not to send things like Oreos, chocolate, etc. So the kids aren't comparing lunches. I mean, I sent the Oreos. Oh. Okay, would you mind maybe not sending them again? Just because Ava was really upset about it, and I think it would be easier if we're all consistent. I don't really think we can control what anyone else packs, though. I'm not trying to control anyone. I'm just asking everyone to be considerate with respect. I am not changing my daughter's lunch because your daughter wants an Oreo. Hi, everyone!
So you got that? The one mom wants everyone else in the class to regulate what they're sending to school because the one mother says no Oreos to her child, and so everybody else must punish their children with no Oreos.
Well, I really didn't want to bring this up again, but Ava came home upset again today. Please don't say Oreos. Yes, actually, someone sent them again. That would be me. Right, so after our conversation yesterday, they were already in her lunchbox, Michelle. I'm sorry, but this is getting ridiculous. I don't think my daughter coming home crying 2 days in a row is ridiculous. But Michelle, nobody's giving them to Ava. They're just eating their own lunch, which is why I've emailed the teacher
about Oreos. That's right. So Michelle has now emailed the class teacher to suggest that they should send out an email to the whole class saying you should only bring healthy snacks to school and stop bringing Oreos to school because one child in class isn't allowed to eat the Oreos. Therefore, nobody should have Oreos. So, in fact, the school sent out an email, but it did not exactly say what Michelle wanted them to say. So, naturally, Michelle here has taken a legalistic interpretation, and nobody else is having it.
Have you all sent the email from school about lunchboxes? Just reading it now. We encourage families to choose healthy options where possible, however, but what is included in each child's lunchbox is ultimately at the discretion of parents. Seems pretty clear to me. I've seen it. I'm actually quite disappointed. Why? They've said parents decide what goes in their own child's lunch. They've also specifically said they encourage healthy options. So clearly, they agree with what I was saying. Michelle, encourage. They basically politely said I can pack the Oreos. That's your interpretation. I just think if the school is encouraging healthy eating, parents should respect that. It's too Oreo. I think the email was probably a rare way of ending this debate. I just find it interesting that some people are focusing only on the part of the email that suits them. Aren't you doing exactly that? Also, just FYI, there are 3 Oreos in her today. Seriously? They're from my daughter. Michelle, it's not a protest. At this point, it honestly feels deliberate. I cannot believe we are on day 5 of Oreo Gate.
But wait. It turns out that poor little Ava, who can't eat the Oreo cookies, has turned into the ringleader of the food trade at school.
Okay, I need to know whose daughter gave Ava Oreos at lunch today. Please don't tell me we're doing this again. I'm being serious. She came home and told me she ate 2 at lunch. Wait, she actually ate them this time? Yes. After everything that's happened this week, I'm honestly really annoyed. Let me ask Isla, because she had Oreos again today. Of course she did. Okay, I've just asked her. And apparently Ava asked if she could have them. Isla still shouldn't have given them to her when she knows Ava isn't allowed them. There's more. Oh God, Ava apparently offered to swap her yogurt pouch for 2 Oreos. She negotiated for them. I'm sorry, that's actually hilarious. She's fine. She doesn't understand why we don't allow that kind of stuff. Michelle, she literally organized the trade. Isla thought they were swapping snacks. This is exactly why I've been saying something needs to be done. What do you want them to do? Are the Oreos under wraps? No, Laura. I'd expect parents to teach their children not to give other children food without permission. And I'd expect you to teach Ava not to trade her lunch fear, Ava might actually be the mastermind behind Oreo Gate.
Oh my gosh. So the latest has hit, folks. The latest has hit. I'm sorry if y'all are emotionally invested in this. I am totally emotionally invested in this drama of this school whose kids and parents I don't even know. But, well, it has gotten to the point now where Ava's mom, Michelle, who wants the Oreos banned, has started searching the lunch boxes at school of the other kids.
Go through Isla's lunchbox this morning. I didn't go through it. She has just told me you opened it and looked inside. Wait, what? I was going to speak to Charlotte first, but Isla was already at breakfast club, and obviously Charlotte has left. Yes, because I dropped her off and go to work. I know I look for you first. I don't think that's making this better, Michelle. Why were you even looking in her lunchbox? Ava told me yesterday that Isla was bringing Oreos again today. Oh my God. After everything that's happened, I just wanted to know if it was true. So you opened my daughter's lunchbox to check for Oreos. I literally just looked. I didn't touch or take anything. I feel like I didn't take anything isn't helping here. I was trying to prevent another situation before it happened by searching a 5-year-old's lunchbox. Searching is a ridiculous word for it. The lunchbox was right there outside the classroom. That somehow sounds worse. What? Were there Oreos then? Since apparently we're doing lunchbox inspections now. Yes, there were. Good, I packed them. And this is exactly why I checked. Michelle, if you ever open my daughter's lunchbox again, we are going to have a very different conversation. Wow, I was actually trying to avoid more drama. Checking someone's child's lunchbox for contraband Oreos might not have been the best way to achieve that. Michelle, did you go through Isla's lunchbox?
Oh my gosh. I'm telling you, mom group chats are the worst thing. Literally, this mom is inspecting other kids' lunchboxes just to see if they brought Oreos. By the way, I got to tell you, this is not an uncommon thing. I am glad that we have sane moms at our kids' school. We still get the drama on occasion, particularly because my son is now a senior and suddenly it's all the senior activities of what we should or should not do. But holy cow, this mother wants all the other moms to give up sending treats to school because their child is not allowed a treat. When my kid was in elementary school, we had something similar to this. We would send our child Oreos to school. 3 Oreos would go to school with our child. 3 Oreos and a lot of bacon because that's what he ate. He ate 5 pieces of bacon and 3 Oreos every day. My kid, he's kind of like OCD on this. He needed 5 pieces of bacon and 3 Oreos. And one day he brought a 4th Oreo. And trouble broke out in the lunchroom because he didn't want to eat the 4th Oreo. He's supposed to have 3 Oreos. So he didn't want to eat the 4th one. That meant somebody got it, and a fight broke out of the lunchroom over who got the 4th Oreo. So we got a note home sent, don't send a 4th Oreo. Be careful. I didn't know. It was my fault. I packed the lunch. I thought I was being the cool dad by sending 4 Oreos. No. Apparently, my kid narked on me because he was only supposed to have 3, and the 4th Oreo went to the highest bidder, which started a fight in the lunchroom. At least we didn't have a group chat about it with one mom narking on the others. Telling you, you do not understand. If you are not a parent with a kid in school, you do not understand the bane of our existence is the mom group chat because there's always one mother who takes it off the rails. And in this case, it's some woman named Michelle who won't give her kid Oreos and wants all the other moms to also stop giving their kids Oreo cookies. You know what the other moms should have done is all of them, every single one of them should have sent Oreos to school. Friends, apparently, they are now attempting, Michelle is attempting to boot Ashley from the moms group for turning the moms group chat into music, for making Michelle look like she's the villain, for wanting to ban the Oreo cookies. She wants Ashley out of the group chat. The other moms are defending Ashley and all think it's very funny and wanting to know how to also turn group chats into music. This is like the Real Housewives of group chat. Maybe this should be the next Bravo TV series. I kid you not. The drama of the mom group chat is never ending. All right, to the phones. Dave, you're going to be up next. Welcome to the show, Dave.
Dave. This is Dave, Eric,
Welcome.
Tell you what, I had a question, but I've been listening to what you've been talking to. I mean, seriously, is there people who can go through somebody else's lunchbox?
This mom did.
That's legal?
Well, I don't know. I mean, it was sitting there. She thought she was being helpful. So, look, okay, we only got about a minute, so you better get to your other point.
Okay. Well, my original question, and it's been fascinating just listening, but my original question was about the UN. Does the UN have anything to say about this Strait of Hormuz going on? I have not heard anything.
No, they really don't. And the reason is because the U.S. tried to get a resolution through the Security Council to take essentially a global initiative to open the Strait of Hormuz, and Russia and China vetoed it. Russia and China tried to get try to get something through the Security Council to demand the United States stop, and Britain and France joined us in vetoing it. So there's the UN is pretty incompetent. I don't even know why we're still in the UN at this point. It's just a worthless organization at this point. It doesn't do anything other than stir up anti-Semitism around the world. So I wish we would walk away from it. There's a lot of valuable property that we could sell in New York tied to the UN if we threw them out of the country. And I mean, think about the real estate boom, although the communists, I'm sure, would ruin it. 877-973-7425 is the phone number should you wish to be on the program. Perfectly Snug wants to get you a good night's sleep. You can save $280 on the Perfectly Snug mattress topper. You go to perfectlysnug.com/Erick today and save $280. The Perfectly Snug mattress topper, it is like an air conditioner for your bed. So it sits on top of the mattress, and it can blow cool air or it can heat up. It is great for you. I used the heat last night because I had a rough day at the gym. My back was sore, and the heat, it's so much better than sleeping on a mattress, on like a heating pad, because you can kind of tell the heating pad is there and it's different. The mattress pad's full body, and it just works. You go to perfectlysnug.com/Erick today, and you get $280 off. It's got zones, so you and your spouse can have separate heating and cooling. It comes on automatically. It adjusts through the night automatically, and it just works. You go to perfectlysnug.com/Erick today. You save $280. You get a perfectly snug night's sleep, and you can thank me later because it does work, and it will give you a cooler night's sleep or a warmer night's sleep, whichever you prefer.